You know what? This is just like a breath of fresh air. I'm not kidding. I think it's been day 5, day 6. I don't even know what day it is, to be honest. But it's just everyone's in it for the right reason. Everyone's in it. You have great energy. You have great people. And at the end of the day, everyone's putting aside their agendas and doing what's best for the team. And let me tell you, it is refreshing and everyone's excited to be here.
Remember when Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter thought they could push Caitlin Clark around without any backlash? When opponents took cheap shots and the refs stayed silent? That chapter just closed in spectacular fashion.
She needs an enforcer. She needs a brute that will wreck people if they wreck her.
Sophie Cunningham just walked into Fever training camp with a presence so bold, it's shaking up the entire WNBA. The veteran sharpshooter and Taekwondo black belt isn't simply adding depth to the roster, she's becoming the bodyguard for the league's most targeted rookie. In this video, we're diving into Sophie's fierce camp performance and what she had to say on the mic, and why she might be the Indiana Fever's newest secret weapon against cheap shots and hard fouls.
Sometimes you need one of those players on your team. You need one of those enforcers. Every good player, by the way. Every good player, every good team that is a super duper star. Most of the time have enforcer type players.
Remember when Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA as the most hyped prospect in league history? That electric buzz quickly gave way to something far more troubling. As the season progressed, a chilling trend began to surface, one that left both fans and analysts speechless. The stats speak louder than words. A staggering 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA last year were committed against a single player, Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in. One rookie, surrounded by seasoned pros, somehow absorbed nearly 1/5 of the league's most dangerous hits. This wasn't random, it was deliberate.
So there's a hot topic going on right now. Caitlin Clark says she got cheap shotted against the sky. I mean, throughout the season, she's been getting beat up. Hard screens, elbows, knocked down.
Game after game, the pattern was too obvious to ignore. Opponents weren't just playing hard-nosed basketball. They were going out of their way to hit Clark with brutal screens, heavy contact, and actions that crossed the line from intense to outright reckless. What should have been a showcase of elite skill turned into a nightly trial by fire. The main culprits quickly stood out to anyone paying attention. Angel Reese emerged as Clark's most visible rival, mixing aggressive defense with non-stop trash talk aimed at rattling the rookie's focus. But the most blatant act came from Kennedy Carter, whose shoulder check on a fast break exploded across social media in seconds. These weren't just plays, they were messages.
Clark! Hammer!
What made it all even worse was the officiating. Time and again, the refs held their whistles on hits that would have drawn instant fouls for anyone else. Clark was left to fend for herself, absorbing contact with little to no consequence for the defenders. While trying to lead a young and inexperienced Fever squad, she also had to survive a physical gauntlet night after night. The lack of protection wasn't just frustrating, it was dangerous.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
Through it all, Clark remained composed. Even as she endured a level of physicality that would have driven seasoned vets to call out refs or rivals, she never once used the media to vent or place blame. Instead, she kept her focus, battled through the contact, and carried herself with a poise well beyond her rookie year. But the impact was undeniable on her rhythm, her confidence, and her ability to play free. The Fever front office saw it all. Game after game, they watched their franchise centerpiece take hits, and they made a clear decision. This would not carry into her second season. Their answer wasn't just about upgrading talent, it was a strategic move to build a roster with one purpose in mind: protect Caitlin Clark.
Like, she needs an enforcer, and if it ain't gonna be me, Michelle Rappaport, like, where is Charlize Oakley? Doesn't her team have like a Zavaria McDaniels or a Rakisha Mahorn. She needs like a goon on her team, because when your star player that's bringing so much money, so much attention to the league, and it's a collective, it's a bunch of them, it's been brewing.
This wasn't just about stacking wins, it was a clear signal to the rest of the league. Anyone targeting Caitlin Clark would now have to deal with the consequences. The Fever weren't just assembling a roster, they were building a wall around their most prized player. But one question loomed large. Who would set the tone for this new no-nonsense attitude on the floor? The team needed a fierce blend of talent, toughness, and fearlessness. And they found it in a 6'1" force of nature, Taekwondo black belt, seasoned competitor, and someone who never backs down from a challenge.
Caitlin Clark was getting hit a lot. She was getting hit a lot early, and they needed their Charles Oakley. You've got that in Sophie Cunningham.
Enter Sophie Cunningham, a name already known across the league, but whose purpose in Indiana became crystal clear the moment she stepped up to the mic at training camp. Behind her impressive 37.8% career clip from beyond the arc lies something even more vital to the Fever, a fearless mindset and a statement that sent shockwaves through the WNBA.
I just think that's what they were doing in the offseason. They were trying to get winners, people who know how to compete, people who want to win, and put that together with experience, people who have championships. And so when you have that type of combination, and us kind of young bucks, I'm kind of a tweener, and then you have the vets, you know, you're just trying to be a sponge, you're trying to learn, you're trying to be good now, but at the end of the day, you're trying to be the best when it's preseason, right? And so that's why you have those vets, is so you can learn from them. They've been around the game for a really long time, and that's kind of the refreshing part about being on this team, is that everybody wants to learn, and so everyone's dialed in.
And that's exactly why you have veterans, so you can learn from them. They've seen it all, they've done it all. What's special about this team is that everyone's eager to grow, and you can feel that focus across the board. So when Sophie Cunningham stepped into her first Fever media session, the room expected the usual sound bites: new beginnings, team chemistry, season goals. Instead, she dropped 6 words that shook the league. I'm here to make sure nobody takes cheap shots at our players. That stops now.
I do think that everyone knows that we have something special here. I think a lot of teams have a lot of teams that are special, a lot of rosters that are special, but can you put it together? Can you put aside your agendas? Can you come into work every single day when you're tired, when you're sore, and still get something done and stack the days? And that's what we're doing. Today was tough, you know what I mean? Like, we've been going for a long time. They haven't been, this is not an easy training camp, I'll tell you that, but I think we're gonna be better for it. And I think if you ask anyone, everyone kind of just feels that nice energy.
What makes her the ideal fit for this enforcer role isn't just her size or strength on the floor. It's her background, rooted in discipline and physical mastery, that directly fuels the way she plays the game. Over the course of her WNBA career, Cunningham has earned a reputation for never backing down, always meeting intensity with intensity. She's exactly the kind of player you want standing between your star and the chaos, an unwavering shield for a team ready to draw the line.
So I'm on year 7, and I did not believe people when they're like, hey, when you get old, you're gonna know. Boy, I think I'm starting to get old, and I hate saying that. But no, it's just, we play fast, right? We're gonna be quick. We're a run and gun, we're a shooting team. But with that, you got to get your cardio up. With that, you have to play fast but play smart. And so there's a fine line between that, and we're all trying to get that. There's a lot of people here, a lot of different rotations, a lot of people that you haven't played with before. So you have to know where they want the ball, when they want it, their rhythm, their style of play. And so a lot of people are learning, but it's fun, right? Everyone's excited to be here. Everyone's working hard. We've had 3 really, really good days.
The veterans' dedication isn't limited to protecting Indiana's rising star. In training camp interviews, Cunningham spoke about building a culture rooted in trust and unity. It's important that we know and love each other off the court, she said, because that naturally leads to chemistry and the drive to fight for one another on the court. That mindset points to something bigger than defense. It's a blueprint for culture. Cunningham isn't just shielding Clark. She's helping create an environment where every player feels safe, valued, and ready to go to battle together.
I don't even want to sound like this, but it's been easy. It's been easy because you have really, really great people here that want to be a part of something special. And so they're not only phenomenal athletes, but they're phenomenal people. They're out in the community. They do what's right. I don't know. We're just good stewards. And so when you're around those types of people, it's refreshing. And when I say this, I'm truly happy to be here because it hasn't been like this for my career in a really long time.
When reporters asked her directly about the rough treatment Clark faced during her rookie year, Cunningham didn't hold back. "That's not basketball," she said flatly. "That's not going to happen on my watch." Her words were sharp, clear, and impossible to misread. With that one statement, she drew a line in the sand. The era of targeting the Fever's franchise player with unchecked physicality was done.
Anytime you play with the GOAT of our team, or the GOAT of our game, you're going to learn a lot. You have to be ready for the ball, head on a swivel at all times. And the way that she throws the ball is a lot how DT threw it. I think this is just the younger version of her, so she has a little bit more energy, a little bit more spunk. I miss DT in her prime, but doesn't mean she wasn't great when I played with her. But honestly, at the end of the day, everybody can shoot, right? If you're cutting and you're open, you're going to get the ball. And so you just have to be ready for that. And I'm excited for that. And I think you'll see 1 through 5 is interchangeable.
And Cunningham's time playing beside legends like Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner gave her a front row seat to life under the microscope. "I understand what it's like to have every move scrutinized," she shared during camp, highlighting her focus on blocking out distractions and guarding the team's mental space. That kind of veteran perspective is already paying off for a young roster navigating the pressures of the spotlight. Her experience isn't just guidance, it's armor.
I'm so grateful and blessed to have my time out in Phoenix. I met a lot of cool people. I had a lot of great teammates. I learned a lot, had a lot of great times, but just a new era for me, right? A new system, a new type of energy. And so, of course, I'm excited for it. I'm happy to be close to my family. I'm excited to have my teammates, so I'm started to even get close with now, and I think we're going to be lots of friends. And so, I don't know, it's a new vibe, and I'm happy.
What makes her presence so powerful isn't just her willingness to protect. It's how seamlessly her skills elevate the entire offense. With that lethal three-point shot, defenders can't sag off her, which means more room for Clark to create. It's a double-edged sword. Go after Clark, and you'll pay with buckets from Cunningham. Ignore Cunningham, and she'll light you up from deep. But beyond the sharp shooting lies something even more critical to Clark's success: a basketball mind that sees danger coming before it strikes. While fans are buzzing about their scoring chemistry, the coaching staff is watching a defensive partnership quietly take shape. We're only on day 3 of Indiana Fever training camp, and Sophie Cunningham is already stealing the show.
But Caitlin Clark did officially put out a statement on Juju Watkins on her Twitter X feed, and it's a fantastic statement. But somehow, some way, people that can't stand Caitlin Clark are now turning this into something.
Caitlin Clark is currently facing intense backlash simply for showing support to an injured competitor. Her well-intentioned social media post about Juju Watkins has sparked an absolute firestorm, with critics obsessing over her choice of words and questioning her motives. The sheer absurdity of this situation reveals the darker side of what should be a supportive sports community. It's unimaginable that a simple message of encouragement would lead to such aggressive attacks. Yet here we are, witnessing the relentless negativity that follows Clark at every turn.
Of course, last night during March Madness against Mississippi State, Juju Watkins suffered a horrific injury. Did a video on it this morning. Obviously, we're all pulling for her, all right, to get better. I haven't seen any Caitlin Clark fans talking negatively about Juju Watkins and that injury or wishing it on her or anything like that. I wish I could say the same for fans of the original WNBA fans when it comes to you-know-who, Caitlin Clark. And in fact, I think one of them made a live stream about Caitlin's knee or something like that.
Let me break down this ridiculous situation unfolding before our eyes. Last night during March Madness, USC star Juju Watkins suffered a terrible injury against Mississippi State. It was a moment that should have brought basketball fans together to support a talented young athlete. Caitlin Clark, as always, showed class by posting a simple and heartfelt message. Sending all my thoughts and prayers to Juju, kid will come back stronger than ever, along with a red heart emoji. A kind gesture from one athlete to another, right? But of course, in the world of Caitlin Clark, even the most innocent message becomes ammunition for critics. Her post, viewed by over 1.2 million people, quickly sparked hateful comments, mainly focusing on the word kid. Some criticized her for using it, claiming it was disrespectful. One commenter wrote, "Kid, you're only 3 years apart." Another said, "You're not a 20-year veteran, check yourself." It even escalated when someone argued that, as a person of color, referring to someone as kid was offensive, especially in a belittling way.
Any reason to try to bring this young lady down. I guess they're jealous. I don't know what it is. Well, yeah, I do. All right. For a lot of them, it's her skin color and her sexual preference. I hate to say that. That is part of this.
Let that sink in for a moment. Caitlin Clark offers support to an injured player, and somehow it gets twisted into accusations of disrespect, condescension, and even racial undertones. It's utterly baffling. These critics are actively looking for reasons to be offended, creating controversy where there is none.
One thing I'm going to tell you about the old WNBA fans or the new WNBA fans that are activists that have joined for the culture war, because there's two separate factions. There's the old ones that, been around and just laboring and nothing was ever popping until Caitlin came along.
It's telling how quickly some commenters injected race into this non-issue. One person said, "I think Juju will have a problem with you calling her kid," with no evidence that Watkins was offended. These critics are creating imaginary conflicts to push their own agenda. The timing of these attacks is especially despicable. While Watkins is recovering from a serious injury, these so-called fans are using the situation to attack Clark. It's exploitative and shows a lack of respect for Watkins as well. Let's be clear, the word kid is commonly used in sports as a term of endearment, not disrespect. Coaches, teammates, and competitors of all ages and races use it. There's nothing condescending about it, particularly in this context, where Clark was offering support, not lecturing Watkins. What's happening here is typical of what Clark has faced since rising to national prominence. Every word, every gesture, every expression is scrutinized and misinterpreted by those eager to tear her down. The mental gymnastics it takes to twist a supportive message into an offense is remarkable. Some of this hatred clearly stems from factors beyond basketball, Clark's skin color and sexual preference, as some critics have pointed out. While blunt, there's truth to this. Clark represents something uncomfortable for certain segments of the WNBA fan base, and they're looking for any excuse to vilify her. This pattern isn't new. From the moment Clark began breaking records, a vocal minority has been offended by her success. Ironically, if Watkins had used kid in a supportive message to Clark, these critics wouldn't have batted an eye. Their outrage is selective and fueled by their pre-existing dislike of Clark. The double standard is impossible to ignore. Clark is held to an impossibly high standard, where even her most benign, supportive statements are twisted into something sinister. Meanwhile, incidents of unsportsmanlike conduct directed at her, like the cheap shots and unnecessary roughness she faced last season, were either ignored or defended as part of the game by many of the same people now upset by the word kid. The hypocrisy is staggering. This situation distracts from what should be the focus: Watkins' injury and recovery. Instead of supporting a talented athlete facing adversity, these critics hijack the narrative to fuel their anti-Clark agenda. It's disrespectful to both Clark and Watkins. Importantly, there's no indication that Watkins took offense to Clark's message. These critics aren't defending Watkins. They're using her injury to continue their campaign against Clark. This is exploitation, not advocacy. Clark can't win in this toxic environment. If she hadn't said anything, critics would have accused her of being insensitive. When she does offer support, they dissect her words, looking for any potential offense. The scrutiny she faces is unprecedented. Every post, every expression is analyzed and often deliberately misinterpreted. Imagine the mental toll of knowing that even your kindest gestures will be twisted against you. No athlete should have to bear that burden. What's happening to Clark isn't just unfair to her, it's damaging to women's basketball. The WNBA is growing, with record viewership and attendance, largely thanks to Clark's popularity. Yet some established fans seem resentful of this attention, creating a hostile environment. Think about the message this sends to new fans discovering women's basketball through Clark. They tune in excited about a new star, only to see the vicious attacks and manufactured controversies surrounding her. How many potential lifelong fans are being driven away by this toxic atmosphere?
But you want to boycott the one player, looking right at you, Angel Reese and Asia Wilson, one player that has caused the revenue to go way up in the monetary values. That's what you want to do. You think you're helping these women?
The NBA civil war has officially begun. On one side, Asia Wilson and her supporters are reportedly urging fans to boycott Caitlin Clark's games. On the other side, millions of new fans, brought to women's basketball by Caitlin's rise, are baffled by any attempts to undermine the star.
That's what they're mad about. 41 nationally televised games, and they are furious over it. I can't understand.
The league has never been more popular. Fever games are filling arenas. ESPN is airing more WNBA content than ever, and social media is buzzing about women's basketball. Yet, instead of embracing this growth, some players and their fans seem set on resisting it. The true motive behind the boycott effort reveals an uncomfortable reality about fame, jealousy, and the future of women's sports.
The original fans, activist fans, that's what they are, all right? Just keeping it real. They don't like the fact that you want to watch these games. They don't like the fact that you are 3 or 4 times the amount of them.
Have you seen what's unfolding in the WNBA right now? A full-blown civil war is erupting among fans over Caitlin Clark getting 41 nationally televised games this season, more than any other player in the league. The tension has hit a boiling point, and it's causing rifts nobody expected.
Right here, Caitlin Clark in the Fever will have more nationally televised game than any NBA player this year. Sorry, LeBron. Sorry, Luka. Sorry, every other player in the league. Let's be honest. I've seen the NBA ratings. She's beaten most of them.
Some WNBA fans are actually planning to boycott Indiana Fever games in an effort to lower viewership numbers. Can you believe that? They're deliberately trying to reduce the audience just because they think Caitlin Clark is getting too much attention. And it's not just random trolls online. People within the WNBA media ecosystem are promoting the idea that fans should illegally stream games or avoid watching Fever games altogether.
So they're all mad right now, furious, and my goodness, guys, they're talking boycott. Oh, what? Oh, there's strength in numbers. There's tens of you.
What's truly staggering about this situation are the numbers. Caitlin Clark will appear on national TV more than any NBA player this year. Not just any WNBA player, but any NBA player, period. LeBron James, Luka, Stephen Curry, these global superstars are getting less TV time than a WNBA rookie. That's completely unprecedented in basketball history.
And yes, I understand. This is a very, very small minority. It is a very small minority of people, but it is a loud, vocal minority. And this is not the general public. This is not the general population.
For years, a dedicated but small group of hardcore fans has been the driving force behind WNBA discussions, supporting the league through thick and thin, often when no one else was paying attention. But now, millions of new fans are flooding in, many of whom have never watched women's basketball before. And they're shifting everything, from how the league operates to who gets the spotlight.
We're not supposed to talk about it out loud, maybe. That's a massive part. Straight white girl's a big part of it, too. I mean, it's out loud. It's out loud. It just came out of my mouth like that. Just easy peasy. So they're mad, and they are calling for boycotts.
When you look at what's really going on, the boycott movement exposes an uncomfortable truth. Some longtime WNBA supporters would rather see lower viewership than watch Caitlin Clark succeed. They're willing to harm the league's growth just to make a point. WNBA media figures have expressed shock at these calls, highlighting that this vocal minority doesn't reflect the views of most fans.
The Slows are now planning to, quote, boycott Indiana Fever games to affect the viewership. They really think they matter in the big scheme of things.
The reality is, we're witnessing a classic case of gatekeeping. Longtime fans who feel a sense of ownership over a niche interest are suddenly watching it go mainstream and feeling threatened by the influx of newcomers.
It's just mad. And what they have now trying to do is they are trying to boycott Indiana Fever games. I'm not joking when I say this. They are literally saying, boycott Indiana. We need to all boycott the Indiana Fever games so they don't get more national TV games. We don't get more national TV games next year.
Critics of the boycott movement argue how counterproductive it is. By deliberately lowering viewership numbers, fans aren't just targeting Caitlin Clark. They're potentially jeopardizing the financial future of every player in the league. This boycott could have unintended consequences that affect the entire landscape of women's basketball.
I cannot believe it. And again, this is a minority of people, but the problem is the idiotic minority somehow have, a lot of them somehow have ins with WNBA players, WNBA teams and stuff. I cannot believe it. Like,
when you trace the money in professional sports, it becomes clear how self-defeating this boycott really is. Before Caitlin Clark, WNBA games were lucky to attract 200,000 viewers. Now, they're drawing over 1 million, and that five-fold increase isn't just a number. It represents life-changing money for every player in the league.
That equivalent, like, I just can't believe it. But they're reasoning for boycotting the Fever games. They're literally saying, we should illegally stream the games when the Fever play our team. And I'm like, one, you are not a big enough percentage of the population for it to have any effect.
Let me break down how this works. The WNBA doesn't just randomly set players' salaries. They're directly linked to something called media rights deals. These are huge contracts that networks like ESPN, ABC, and CBS pay to broadcast games. And what determines how much these networks will pay? Viewership numbers. More viewers mean more advertising revenue, which leads to higher payouts for broadcasting rights.
All that does is harm the players. No matter who you are, what team you are a fan of, if you want the players to make more money.
Right now, the WNBA is in the midst of negotiating its next media rights deal, and this is the absolute worst time for fans to be talking about boycotts. Networks are seeing the viewership spikes from Caitlin Clark and are eyeing those numbers as a goldmine. They're prepared to pay much more than they did before she joined the league. Those million-plus viewer games aren't just benefiting Clark. They're raising the potential salary cap for every player in the league.
They're actively trying to ungrow the game. And it's madness. It's absolutely madness. Like, they're threatening to boycott the Fever games. All 257 of them threatening to boycott Fever games like it makes any difference. Like, these people are not fans of basketball. These people are actually not fans of the WNBA.
Think about this. Games featuring Caitlin Clark are drawing 5 to 10 times more viewers than the league's average before. What does that mean? Networks might be willing to pay 5 to 10 times more for broadcasting rights. This is exactly what the WNBA has been striving for since day one. The kind of mainstream attention that brings in serious money.
They just don't like Caitlin Clark. Like, this is genuinely, it's nothing to do with basketball. And it's nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, the person. There's no rhyme or reason to it, because I don't think there is a harder person to dislike.
Here's where the boycott idea becomes incredibly ironic. Many of the same fans calling for boycotts have been the loudest advocates for better pay for WNBA players, highlighting the salary disparities between male and female athletes. Now that there's finally a player bringing in the viewership that could help close that gap, they want to tank the numbers. It just doesn't add up.
They just don't like Caitlin Clark. It's a personal thing, and they will literally these people, again, they're not fans of basketball, they're not fans of the WNBA, they're not fans of any teams. They just don't like Caitlin Clark.
What's especially frustrating is how short-sighted the boycott supporters are being. They don't seem to realize that higher viewership creates a positive feedback loop for the entire league's economy. More viewers lead to more ticket sales, more jersey and merchandise purchases, and increased interest from sponsors. The whole economic ecosystem of women's basketball becomes stronger.
I don't think they understand there's no viewership before Clark. So if they boycott, would it really move the needle?
And all this new money doesn't just go to one player, it benefits everyone. A rising tide lifts all boats. The revenue from these media deals gets spread across the league, boosting salary caps and minimum salaries for every player. Veterans who've been grinding for years on smaller contracts could finally earn the kind of money they deserve.
And it's a situation where they move the goalpost. They'll always move the goalpost. You're seeing like prominent figures in the WNBA media-ish space. And the reason I say media-ish space is the Twitter trolls somehow are interact with the damn actual media in a two-way conversations every day. It's mental.
Despite all the financial benefits Caitlin Clark brings to every player in the league, there's an uncomfortable truth we can't ignore. Would any other sports fans ever try to boycott their most popular player? Can you picture NFL fans organizing to avoid Patrick Mahomes games or NBA viewers refusing to watch LeBron? The double standard here isn't just surprising. It exposes something much deeper about how success is treated in women's sports.
Lexie Hull being back in Indiana in the gym, working out. We saw Keith Porter in there. We saw Lexie shooting her shots. We saw Lexie with reverse layups.
Ever wonder why some players seem to keep improving while others hit a plateau? The Indiana Fever just dropped Lexie Hull's latest workout video, and it's shedding light on everything that's wrong with Angel Reese's current training method. This isn't just a slight difference. This is a stark contrast in what truly matters when it comes to player development.
I'm trying to figure out why she's putting so much time in developing an outside shot when she works under the basket, primarily.
While Hull is putting in the work with Caitlin Clark and Brianna Turner, focusing on game-specific scenarios, Reese is out filming herself, allegedly practicing, if you can even call it that. One player is building habits that lead to championships, while the other is creating an Instagram highlight reel that has no relevance to her actual role. Let's break down why this is so important for both their futures and how Reese's practice is falling short.
As Lexie Hull, she's back.
Have you seen what Lexie Hull's training looks like? The Indiana Fever just released a video that's getting attention for all the right reasons. Unlike the flashy, over-the-top workout videos flooding social media, Hull's footage is refreshingly real, showcasing genuine basketball development with a clear sense of purpose. What stands out right away is how intentional every drill is. Hull isn't training solo. She's working alongside Caitlin Clark and Brianna Turner, running through targeted sets to improve their on-court chemistry. This isn't just aimless shooting practice. It's a deliberate approach focusing on the exact areas where Hull faced challenges early last season.
Just that old school.
The Fever's motion offense, often called read and react, is at the heart of Hull's training routine. For those unfamiliar, this system relies on constant player movement and precise cutting to generate scoring chances. Hull's workouts are directly tailored to build the skills required to thrive in this style of play. You can watch her fine-tuning her catch-and-shoot technique, running through screenplays, and refining her movement patterns to create open looks for the upcoming season. Her training targets 3 key areas that align perfectly with her role: foundational shooting mechanics with a textbook high release, screen and cut actions, focusing on finishing at the rim, and the development of a consistent mid-range game, including floaters. The Fever coaching staff appears to have thoroughly analyzed Hull's performance data. If you followed last season, you likely noticed how Hull's shooting efficiency and overall impact saw a sharp increase after the Olympic break, when she started getting more consistent minutes. This training video proves they're building on what worked, sharpening the skills that transformed her from a bench player into a key contributor. What stands out in the footage is its authenticity. No gimmicks, no flashy music, no unnecessary props or distractions. It's just athletes putting in the work, repeating game-specific scenarios they'll encounter next season. This is basketball training at its core, aimed at translating directly to real game situations.
One of the reasons, other than the defense she plays and getting her hands on balls and all the other stuff Lexie does, that makes us absolutely cheer for her and appreciate her, it's that she does it with such joy. Joy, the three-letter word that is so huge in sports, and we don't always see that in people, but there's that joy on her face.
Hull's joy during these workouts is impossible to miss. She's consistently smiling, fully engaged, and clearly enjoying the process of improvement. That positive mindset isn't just heartwarming, it's a key factor in player development. When athletes truly enjoy their training, they're more motivated to put in the extra work needed to make real progress. This focused, strategic approach to training helps explain why Hull's performance skyrocketed as last season went on. By honing skills that are directly relevant to her role in the Fever system, she's positioning herself to be more than just a supporting player. She's becoming an indispensable part of an offense that will be much more dangerous next season.
There's footage out there of Angel working on her game, in the lab, as they say, and mostly what we see is Angel shooting three-pointers.
As Lexie Hull evolves into the ideal system player through focused development across the league, we're seeing something akin to someone practicing their violin skills in preparation for a piano recital. Now, let's switch gears and take a look at Angel Reese's training videos, which have Chicago Sky fans scratching their heads. When a 6'3" post player, who shot just 18% from beyond the arc last season, spends her off-season trying to become the next Steph Curry, instead of focusing on improving her 44.5% finishing rate within 5 feet and 39% overall, it raises some serious questions about her priorities.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats, so I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
Basketball is all about roles, with each player having a specific job within their team's system. Lexie Hull has fully embraced her role as a movement shooter, creating spacing and opportunities within the Fever's offense. On the other hand, Angel Reese is meant to be an interior force and elite rebounder for the Sky. But after watching her training videos, you'd think she was preparing for a completely different position altogether.
Oh no! It's Angel Reese! Left alone! Bang! My money, and I want it now! Corner 3 ball! Butter pecan! Burn!
Y'all gonna disrespect me and not guard me? Well, hand down, man down.
Burn! McDonald's handing out brand deals for this kind of bag work. I'll take a lot less! Help a brother out! Bang!
Really only need 3,997 more threes to catch Steph.
Bang!
Chicago Sky fans aren't holding back either. Social media is flooded with comments like, "Why is she working on threes when she can't even make a layup?" This reflects the frustration of seeing a player focus on skills that aren't addressing her most pressing development needs. One fan even pointed out, is Reese trying to be Steph Curry or Caitlin Clark? The difference in approach couldn't be more obvious.
Tell me why I love her odds. Look at her defenders. They moonwalk backwards. She's always going to be open. Bang! If only the IRS left me alone like Angels defenders leave her alone. Tax evasion! Bang! Her new nickname is 7-Eleven because she's open 24/7, baby. Bang! Shout out to my Detroit Pistons. Kate Cunningham, this is for you!
The numbers reveal an even more eye-opening story. Did you know that nearly 40% of Reese's rebounds come from her own missed shots? That's not a mistake. Almost half of her rebounding stats are from cleaning up her own misses. Rather than focusing on becoming a more efficient finisher around the rim, which would instantly raise her value, she's taking three-pointers that have little to no chance of becoming a significant part of her actual game.
So refreshing to see some shots actually make it refreshing! Oh no! That's Angel Reese's music! Bang! You like Mustangs? Your favorite player is Lawal Dang? Oh, you said bang! You're doing the Angel Reese in the NBA now. Watch again. Took 2 slabs of butter, rubbed his hands together, and said, butter pecan. All right, back to business. Line bag work, Brittany Griner. You said you rang? Bang!
This disconnect between training focus and on-court role reveals a deeper issue with basketball IQ. Players who truly understand the game don't just work hard, they work smart. They zero in on the skills that directly elevate their role within their team's system. When Reese spends time practicing three-pointers instead of refining her finishing around the rim, it raises some serious questions about how well she understands her own strengths and what she brings to the table as a player.
Great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career.
Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball.
Another forever moment for this transformational superstar.
Have you caught what Juju Watkins said about Caitlin Clark? The basketball scene is electric, and the WNBA's usual figures are rushing to stay composed. Picture this: a 19-year-old college athlete exhibiting more class, respect, and leadership than veterans who've been in the league for years. Watkins just spoke some real talk, stirring up a league that clearly needs a reality check. And guess what? Angel Reese isn't brushing off Watkins' support for Caitlin Clark.
After spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine.
Let's set the scene. The WNBA has transformed into a drama series lately, with Angel Reese striving to be the leading star. Take, for example, the exaggerated buzz surrounding her Vogue cover. You'd think she revolutionized the game based on how they're celebrating it.
Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has just earned Time's Athlete of the Year, one of the most esteemed honors in all of sports, and the league barely took notice. It's almost laughable. Clark's accomplishments are monumental, yet it seems the WNBA has chosen to highlight the wrong narrative.
What would you say was the greater accomplishment? The cover of Vogue magazine or Athlete of the Year? Without a doubt, Athlete of the Year is the far greater honor. So I am incredibly confused with the difference in response to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Let's be real for a moment. Vogue is undoubtedly a significant milestone in pop culture, but it's far from the ultimate achievement. On the other hand, Time's Athlete of the Year is a worldwide honor that places Clark alongside legends like LeBron James and Simone Biles, athletes who have transformed their respective sports. The contrast is immense. One accolade celebrates genuine greatness, while the other offers a temporary spotlight. Reese's cover may be trendy, but Clark's award solidifies her legacy.
You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time Magazine? Not Female Athlete of the Year. I'm talking about Athlete of the Year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr.
And here's the catch. The WNBA seems unable to prioritize effectively. They're elevating Reese's Vogue feature as if it's the league's most significant event in years. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's remarkable achievements are being dismissed as an afterthought. It's almost humiliating to witness how they're manipulating the narrative, and Juju Watkins is not standing for it.
All kidding aside, I am happy for Angel Reese. Judging by some of her comments, Angel Reese dreams of being a fashion icon, which makes sense. I mean, seriously, what child grows up with dreams of becoming a dump diver in the WNBA? What child grows up with dreams of playing pretend basketball in empty high school gym?
What we're seeing isn't merely a difference in accomplishments. It's a prime example of how the WNBA chooses to direct its focus. Caitlin Clark is elevating the game to new heights, demonstrating that women's basketball deserves a place on the global stage. Angel Reese? She's preoccupied with garnering praise for herself. The distinction couldn't be more apparent. Regarding Caitlin Clark's latest extraordinary achievements, the WNBA has remained silent. It's almost as though they're intimidated by what Clark stands for. This isn't just any athlete we're discussing. Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, a transformative force who's redefining women's basketball. Instead of honoring her as the superstar she truly is, the league is behaving as if she doesn't exist at all. It's ridiculous.
Although I am happy for Angel Reese for achieving her lifelong dream of landing the cover of Vogue magazine and being viewed as a fashion icon, I thought the celebration from the media was a bit strange. Some might even call it hypocritical.
So how did the WNBA react to Clark being named Time's Athlete of the Year? Oh, you're going to find this amusing. Instead of rolling out the red carpet or even sending a simple congratulatory tweet, they chose to ignore her. That's right, complete silence. It's as if they've slipped into an alternate reality where Clark's monumental success doesn't even matter. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the WNBA is busy pretending Clark isn't carrying the league on her shoulders, the broader sports world has taken notice. Clark isn't just being compared to her peers in women's basketball anymore. She's being mentioned alongside the biggest names in all of sports. That's a big deal, folks. And yet, the WNBA seems determined to treat her as an afterthought.
Angel Reese was celebrated for landing the cover of some magazine that no one reads anymore, while Caitlin Clark, she was vilified.
You'd expect the league to be thrilled about having a superstar who single-handedly fills arenas. We're talking about sold-out games wherever she plays. Meanwhile, most WNBA games struggle to attract spectators. The contrast is immense. But instead of capitalizing on Clark's star power, the league is treating her success as a challenge to be managed rather than a victory to be celebrated.
This is how Caitlin Clark was treated by jealous players who directly benefit from her star power. It's also how she was treated by those in the media who also benefit from the drawing power of Caitlin Clark.
What's genuinely unfolding here? It seems the WNBA is apprehensive about success, particularly when it's embodied by Caitlin Clark. She's drawing massive crowds and setting new records. Yet, instead of embracing this momentum, the league appears to be overlooking it. It's a peculiar example of self-sabotage.
Caitlin Clark was pressured by the media to share her honor with unknown and undeserving WNBA players who contributed absolutely nothing to the elevation of the league last season.
And here's the twist. While the WNBA keeps dropping the ball, other players are stepping up to give Clark the recognition she truly deserves. Enter Juju Watkins, the 19-year-old phenom who's wise beyond her years. Watkins openly lauded Clark's influence, demonstrating more maturity than the entire WNBA combined. Just imagine that, a teenager acknowledging greatness while the league itself chooses to ignore it.
I have been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support.
Clark isn't merely a star, she's a movement. She's transcending the sport, standing alongside the biggest names in all of athletics. Yet, instead of celebrating her, the WNBA is treating her rise as something to fear. It's downright comical. As the league continues its awkward dance around Clark's success, Watkins is out here dropping truth bombs that have everyone talking.
But after reading her recent interview with Fox News, Juju Watkins, she has earned some of my respect. After reading this interview with Fox News, it became abundantly clear that Juju Watkins, she gets it.
So what's the WNBA's ultimate plan here? Are they genuinely expecting Clark's impact to simply vanish? Spoiler, that's not going to happen. She's drawing unparalleled attention to women's basketball, and their reaction is complete silence. Meanwhile, athletes like Watkins are demonstrating that the next generation understands the significance. They recognize the bigger picture.
Fox asked her about the influx of attention that Caitlin Clark brought to women's basketball. Here is what Juju Watkins said. So many new fans in the sport can sometimes be a headache. Not everyone knows what they're talking about, but it's great for the sport. The fact that people are watching is enough in itself. We would like it to be positive, but it's not always going to be like that. As long as we continue to raise the numbers and viewership goes up, I think that's all we can ask for.
Juju Watkins isn't just thriving on the court, she's showing the league how to truly embrace success. At only 19, she's already accomplishing what the WNBA should have achieved years ago, giving Caitlin Clark the recognition she deserves and demonstrating that women's basketball belongs on the global stage. It's almost poetic. While the WNBA falters, the youngest voices are stepping up to lead the way.